Hey everyone, Teehashee here, resuming our Thought Process RogueTech gameplay commentary, and we're going after Panzer, and I think we'll be taking in our traditional mixed lance led by a Cyclops. But it'll be a Cyclops we haven't fielded so far. It'll be this one, who's currently built probably for the last time as a missile boat, LRM boat, I should say. Here down the road will be a little bit different. We're going to be a different beast. But for right now, this is what we are. Let me look. I was tempted in the last one to actually refit this mech before the mission, but that's not very efficient and it's not necessary. Like, if we don't want to bring this mech as is, we definitely have other options for mechs. 2 racks of LRM-5s, LRM-25 if I remember properly, 2 medium lasers and a small laser for when we are running hot, plus jump jets, and questionable everything, heat efficiency and sexuality. So, and you know, that can only be a good thing. Okay, so I think we're pretty much set. We'll take a stab at it, and if it's awful, we'll restart it and do it properly next time. Okay, probably gonna shed basically all the pilots. Gonna take that out, bringing the Panther basically this build. What we could look at for a second is this other Marauder. Just checking for a second to see if it's fancier for any reason. It does have double heat sinks. This bad boy just got finished being built. This one has the comm system on it. Yeah, it definitely seems like 6 one way and half a dozen the other, if you know what I mean. There's a marked difference in heat efficiency. But yeah, is it worth losing the comm system? I mean, if we put the comm system on that one, it would definitely be better. There's like some lance optimization stuff we could definitely do the next time we're flying somewhere. It's probably not even necessary, and I'm overanalyzing things, which is basically me in a nutshell. Am I tracking this right? Am I having a stroke? Some reason it says this Cyclops has only 840 armor. And I don't understand, like, how can the Marauder have 1400 armor and the Cyclops only have 840? 1680, yeah. Its durability bar is maxed. I'm sorry. Well, gosh dang it. Alright. What is the dealio with this thing? How can that be accurate? Like, it's got the armor of a medium mech. Less armor than a medium mech. How is that possible without it being some sort of misrepresentation? Because it is a misrepresentation. I did this. I built this mech this way because I'm a moron. I did this. Okay. We can take the HQ, it just doesn't have jump jets, and that's probably a big mistake for this mission. Or we can make actual responsible decisions and bring a mech that slaps. Hurts my heart to make an actual responsible decision and bring a mech that slaps, though. Or we could cheat and we could wait for this Cyclops to get done and then bring it anyway. That's what we will do. Alright, 6 days in orbit, and an apology from me to you guys for not having my poop in a group. We gotta refit that other Cyclops. It's a disaster. No wonder I never used it. Like 2 seconds of actual review, and it's like there's a serious problem with that mech. It's like a stalker, but worse in every single way. Alright, not you. You. You are the champion. You are the hero that Gotham deserves. But definitely not the one Gotham needs right now. See, it sounds smart as long as you don't think about it. And probably not even the mission that I think it is anyway. So let's go get him. 2 close combat mechs, Cyclops Kentaro, 2 long range mechs, Panther Marauder. Okay. Proxima, thank you for coming. Decker isn't a bad pick at all. Glitch, Behemoth, and Teehashee. Though Teehashee, I think, should be replaced by Medusa. It's actually either way for this. We're still doing the 3 skull missions for the campaign. Yeah, it's either way. You can definitely do ace pilot stuff with the Kentaro, and it's not a bad idea. But you can do master tactician stuff as well. Alright, enough deliberating. Let's go. Again, I do analyze stuff. I worked for 6 years as an analyst. I will probably have a future career in analysis. I can't help it. I'm sorry. I go down the rabbit hole with min-maxing, and I'm not even that good at min-maxing. Like, there are people who do like modeling and proper min-maxing stuff that like really do attempt to push the envelope for what you can get out of any given thing. And for me, it's like, I want to min-max like this because I think it would be fun. And if you know anything about min-maxing, you can't optimize fun. Doesn't that sound wrong? Like you can, I try to, but I min-max for me. I min-max for my soul. This is why I was a terrible World of Warcraft player, by the way, is you would watch other people play and they would follow these complex models and have very sophisticated add-ons and do all of this work to get the most out of their class, follow a very regimented spec, everything, right? And I would be like, I want to make a shaman the best tank it can be, and people would just be like, shamans can't tank. And when you would tank with a shaman, they would go, okay, fine, shamans can't tank well, and then you have to concede because they're just not the best at it. Okay, so for this bit, this is the hard bit for this one. I remember this bit. You basically need to send a very fast mech up there and get there as quickly as you can. I'm tempted. If you can stop all the Taurian APCs, we can get the turrets up and running. It's a pain in the butt because if the Taurians get there at all, it's GG. Alright, we have to get up there, like, right now. The Cyclops is already on the road, so I'm just going to check really quick. The Kentaro is definitely faster, but the Cyclops is already on the road. Just checking to see if it could get further, but it cannot. Would also be ideal to stop on the road. Let's look at a jump. No. Sprint's where it's at. We're just going to deal with it. Oh yeah, that's another thing is this this might take a couple tries for me to get it properly. Anyway, enough deliberation. We've got some decent snipers. We can pretty much hold this line. Sorry, what I was saying, or what I was failing at saying, is this map was balanced. Alright, so here are the bad guys. We gotta deal with them. You basically have to push past this entire lance and kill this unit. It's kind of counterintuitive the first time you do it, because you want to like this is the place you're trying to defend and it's already inundated with enemies. You're like, okay, no problem. I also think that this map was designed back when you could make the first move an attack. I'm also being very rude. I promised a discussion about the Panther, so rather than freak out about getting the mission right, we'll talk about the Panther a little bit. The Panther is 35 tons with very few iterations, very few changes. Like there are different versions where it's either a PPC or a large laser and more armor, and that's kind of it. As far as that goes, so again, counterintuitive, but you just run right past this guy. Don't even bother. Not worth your time. It's a pretty good sprint. And cutting this corner also is a good idea. Max speed 64 kph. I think in a different video I called it the light mech that's trapped in a heavy mech's body because it shares a lot of stats with the heavy mech profile. Like it mounts a PPC, typically a heavy mech or a medium mech gun. It moves at 64 kph, typically a heavy mech or a slow medium mech, and very slow for a light mech. And jump jets, which, you know, it's definitely a misfit, but it's the good kind of misfit because it is very capable of, like, PPC or what I prefer, the large laser, capable of a lot of sustain. Bam. Which is nice. That sustain on a light mech and a sniper. I always drop, as you probably know. I always drop the SRM and put an LRM5 in its place. And my current one, since we fished around with it for a second, dropping the PPC allowed for an LRM10 and still a decent amount of durability. So they're going to try and stop the Kentaro. Not happening though. But yeah, if I do remember this properly, like I think I do, that is the thing that you basically cannot do is stop your fastest mech from getting up here, because if you delay for a second, this is a denial zone. It doesn't, I don't think it even tells you. I'm gonna have to kill these APCs. But yeah, basically if anything gets in there, any of the APCs get in there, it's a failure of the mission. And so it demands a lot of adaptability. And at one point, if I remember right, they just plain drop a couple APCs right outside of the base. They get fed up with you, and they're like, you know what? I realize that you're trying to do like the responsible thing and save your people or whatever, but we're also just gonna stomp right on your scrotum. So I think we're gonna sprint over here. Yeah, LRM boat for this mission makes a huge difference. Sorry, Behemoth. Nothing we can do about it. It's the very beginning of the mission. Alright, we're going to sprint up here and see what the situation is with these APCs. But yeah, as I say, mission is counterintuitive because you have to stop this one APC from getting in here, because it's full of Marines, and the mechs could just like walk through these buildings and murder everyone, but instead they don't. Don't ask me why. I don't know. Not qualified to answer it. Alright, we're going to try and turn and jump on that APC there. Let's just reserve. Oh, reserving is also a huge risk, but see how fast this thing is. It's like a windlass or whatever the name of that really fast APC is. Swift Wind, that's what it's called. Stop shooting me in the face. Reserving is a big risk, but it also can draw the APCs in to a more, basically to an easier shot. Oops. Oh, this is the HQ. This is the HQ. Poopy. I thought I brought the other one. Pooperino. Whoopsies. I was all anticipating making this jump and shooting this thing in the behind, but alright. Doesn't matter. Do we have more reserves? We do. Okay. So here we go. Yeah, so now that thing is there, and it needs to die, like, right now. Here comes another one. Alright. Now, do we have line of sight on it? Alright. It's a broadside too. We might just kill it outright. It's hard to say. We need to save our precision strike though for when we're really, really worried like we're not going to get the thing killed. Like the Swift Wind up top. Alright, what I'd like to do is I'd like to turn the Marauder around and shoot this sucker right in its side and kill it. Seemed good. Not, yeah, okay, I was like, Alright, that frees up our, yes, this is a problem. Destroy it. This is a problem. Only one of these is a threat. It's kind of a decoy op, but it's still a thing. Still a thing you gotta take seriously. Alright, so now I don't know if jumping in any particular way makes any difference. Precision strike might pull it off. It would relieve a lot of pressure if we do get it, so we'll just give it a shot. A lot of like frames. The frames. Alright. So here's Medusa's, and this play is really important. Because you don't ever get a line of sight on them for death from above. So the play that you make is always kind of touchy as to like whether you try and shoot them from the side or from the rear. We're going to go for the rear attack, just because you see the armor situation, right? We don't need very much to get through. There we go. And yeah, you destroy that one thing and it's like, oh, you did it, my hero. we're good to get Medusa back. He'll come and be flanking these guys. Gonna ignore him. There's Glitch. Pretty sure that she can perform a jump to kill this thing. I'm gonna be trying hard to remain heat neutral if we can. Probably not worth the risk though. She will just push her heat threshold, and if we have to cool down, we will. Alright, only 3 of these buggers left. Let's go. I think that's a... I can't remember what it is, but I think it's a trebuchet that's over there. But yeah, the Panther's got a lot, maybe not a lot going for it. Like, it's got very few hard points, but it checks a lot of boxes, is what I'm trying to say. And the reason why I say that is, so it's a light mech, fits in the light mech slot. It's pretty well armored, pretty heat efficient. It has jump jets. But the other thing is you can definitely give it, see, it's this guy. You have to kill him now. If you reserve, he gets in there. Have to kill him this turn, I'm saying, before he moves. Anyway. More problems. We have solutions. But yeah, so the Panther thankfully has these nice long-range guns. It mounts. It's got a missile hardpoint and space. I guess that's the other thing. Like, the Jenner barely has any space, it seems, on its chassis because it mounts such a massive engine. I think we'll just let the shots land where they lie, and we'll clean up with the Marauder. And so, like, you can mount the stuff you need on it. You can mount heat sinks, you can mount jump jets, you can mount... This thing's got an LRM-10 on it, and it means that on a light mech with high initiative, especially in this game, you can knock stuff over. And those are all great advantages. So let's just sprint back down here and get back on the road. Hello, boys. I hope you've enjoyed being completely ignored this entire time, because it's going to continue. So yeah, I guess what I'm saying, what the Panther loses in flexibility, it gains in survivability, and while it's not flexible, it also doesn't lack for much. It lacks for some things, definitely, like the fact that it is very slow, and only mounts 4 jump jets instead of 5. You know, there are a couple things that you could definitely complain about and be like, you know, this should definitely be different. Alright, we're going to jump around here. And pray to Gaben for headshots. Don't know why Gaben would help us here, but he might. You don't know. That looked decent. Thank you. Pew. So here if we pull this off, like we're trying to, suddenly the entire base comes to life and bad things start happening to the Taurians. But the first bit of this mission is very high stress. So here's our APC friend, and this is not an APC, it's an SRM carrier. So it's there just to deliver you an FU for shooting at the APC. There we go. Now the last one should be coming in from the dropship. It's just coming in like front and center through here. Here it comes. I forgot that it took like this really circuitous route as well. Like why would it do that? Alright, this is not going to be fun. Now, stop, please. Please stop. Run out of missiles at least. Just stop. It's alright, Behemoth. You did your job. And there's a PPC carrier. Yeah, you get to shoot PPCs for free. Good for you. We have to actually play the game. If you didn't hear on a previous video, vehicles do not have to manage their heat. And so it's kind of, especially since it was worse when the game launched, and because now there are like more mechs in the game and some more fun stuff to play against, but it was really bad then. I think we'll just do a precision strike. We'll save it. I don't think there's a reason to, but we'll save it. No, we're gonna do it. I'm crazy. Schizophrenic even. There we go. But anyway, especially in the early game, the game can really just toss a lot of vehicles at you of very high tonnages too. Like, it doesn't matter, like 60-ton LRM carriers, SRM carriers, and they can just shred assault mechs like this. Right? Look at this. And they don't have to manage their heat, nor do I think they have to manage their ammo, which makes them really, really unfun to play against. Anyway, it's a problem that they address, sort of. They don't fix the mechanics, but by adding more mechs and more variety to the game, it kind of reduces the amount of times you have to deal with vehicles. The economics of this universe are a little weird too, because especially this universe in particular, where it's like if vehicles don't have to manage their heat, why don't you just build Trek PPC carriers? Like it's 80 tons. It's 80 tons. It's 3 PPCs. And when I alpha strike it, it doesn't die instantly because all my shots go into like this flat, low profile thing, and it all hits different parts of the vehicle. So why not just field like a bunch of these instead of one awesome? But yeah, it's probably a point that everyone makes anyway, so I guess I'll stop beating that dead horse. let's crush this thing and get our turrets online and send the Taurians running. That definitely is death. Alright, that's where the tables turn. Poor Kintaro's still getting shot in the back a lot, but now that we're not worried about imminent loss, it's also not, if I remember right, from having done this mission many times, it's also not a strategic thing. Like, if you decide, oh, I can just do it without the turrets, and you let an APC get in there, I'm pretty sure you just lose the mission anyway, if I remember that properly. Oops, we want to step on you. There we go. If I miss this, I'm going to be livid. Squish. That's what you deserve. See, why wouldn't you just field, especially on like defense, or if there's a line that they got across, why wouldn't you just field a bunch of stuff like that? Stop. Oh my god. Why are you even allowed? You're broken. And the music flares. And we are ready. Yeah, it is a trebuchet. Look at all this. Oh my god. These are all the units that have yet to move. And I think Glitch has earned a rest, so probably pull her back. Panther hasn't been shot at all. It took 6 damage from something. Oh, and I probably should start using my precision strikes, because we're gonna have so much resolve. Now, if I remember properly, it's true that they start shooting at these turrets, but there are so many of them that it just doesn't matter. What we could do is we could jump down here and sensor lock somebody. Like you, who just moved. Oh, he's just out of range. Da 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 da. Might not bother then. It just won't bother. How about that? Should have reserved like a smart kid. Shame to see an LRM turret go down. Hate to see it, folks. Another weird thing about this is the Taurians don't throw assault mechs at us for like the first time in 4 missions. You're fighting light and medium mechs. But I think, narratively speaking, they probably designed these missions out of order. Out of any kind of order is what I'm saying, not just order in general. Out of any kind of order. And then put them together in a way that the narrative made sense. And I guess if you don't know much about game design, that happens a lot. Sometimes to the detriment of games. definitely. A good example, boy, that thing's rocking those turrets. A good example is, if I remember, I don't really want to misrepresent a property, but I guess I don't mind too much. um, but I'm pretty sure Blizzard designs their encounters with a little bit of narrative direction, but then basically adapts the narrative to fit after the fact. So they might get like, oh, these are the four or five plot points that we're going for, and then they design the entire encounter around the idea that that is about to happen. But you do get this sort of weird thing, especially in like later expansions, patches, I guess is a better word, maybe. Anyway, both words apply. In later stages of the game, you get these sort of like weird things that happen where it's like, you know, I don't exactly know narratively speaking why we're here and why we're doing this or why we couldn't do this differently, when the answer is basically cool boss fight. That's why. Alright, it looks like I can jump kind of like this and take out this PPC carrier, which might not even be the best target to destroy right now, but I want it dead so much. Oh, and I mentioned the precision strikes. Gotta do that too. Blam. Seem to remember there were other games that did that with their game design, but I can't quite remember which ones they were. Put it in the comments if you remember reading a report like that. Because at this second, I don't quite remember anymore. Alright, we'll sit down here. And we're going to shoot that trebuchet. We're just going to go for center of mass. The other thing is turrets. Turrets are a huge force multiplier in both games. Like when I play MechWarrior 5, I have like a dedicated kill turret and or vehicle gun. Mostly because of what a force multiplier they represent. And it is something to consider in like actual warfare. Why wouldn't like every hardened facility just be bristling with turrets? But to be fair, at some point they probably were, but by now we're on like our third or even fourth succession war, depending on where you are in the storytelling, and these places have just been ground to dust. Still begs the question why it's easier to refit a mech than to build a turret, but maybe it is. I don't know how the logistics of this universe works. They're kept deliberately vague for storytelling purposes. Pretty good shooting. I'll let these guys fight turrets. That's all fine with me. And then I think, too bad I don't have jump jets, but it doesn't really matter. I've still got a big surprise for them. In the form of medium lasers. Looks like I've got my pick for targets too. Let's see what we've got here. Kind of shooting at the wrong side of the Jenner, unfortunately. What about the Wolverine? Yeah, much better shot at the Wolverine. Maybe even punish him for having legs. Yep. He just went to all the trouble walking up there too. I guess just for reference, when you are working with turrets, the more you can like leg or knock down targets, makes them an even more deadly force multiplier. As highlighted here by this Wolverine just suffering. Don't really care. Probably gonna kill him next turn. That was a stray shot into the structure, and I wonder if you could do bad things to him by destroying the structure he's sitting on. I don't know. Don't know that. At this point, probably not necessary. Ooh, was that death? It wasn't, but he's not looking too good. Yeah. Alright, Decker. At this point, it's probably just smart for us to reserve and work backwards from their tactical decisions. Nice shooting, Jenner. This Jenner's been doing a good job. He did like a successful flank attack on us earlier, and you know, if you're dealing with a Jenner, they're at least taking their job seriously, because if they don't, they're going to die. Like a fighter pilot, probably. Though, the fighter pilots that I've met, kind of egomaniacs. And these are guys flying like F-16s, like not even necessarily that fancy a jet, but probably not going to stay on this topic for too much longer, because there's going to be grouchy people. Let's just reserve once more. Alright, here's our Wolverine back up on his feet. Is that really the fight that you want to get into? Okay. I can't imagine he's got anything left. No, one shot from anything. I could probably do a heat neutral. Yeah, and still kill him. There we go. Pew pew pew. Very interesting thing in MechWarrior 5. I'll do some MechWarrior 5 stuff for you, I promise. But mounting, they're both on arms in this case, but mounting medium lasers on any hard point isn't necessarily advisable, because you have to sync them up with your arms and torso unless you lock them together, which I don't advise, but you do you, right? Where in this game you can pretty much, like, basically everything in the world is mounted on some kind of ball turret, and so it doesn't matter where you put them as long as you put a lot of them. I mean, we've got the heat and we've got the precision. Sorry, I was debating whether to do a sensor lock instead. It seemed like it was slightly more responsible. Who can she shoot at up there, out of curiosity? Paste the commando. It would be funny, but it's not necessary for what we're doing here. That looks like death. Yep, that's death. What else can I say about the Panthers since we're here just kind of mopping up? Um, let's talk about the Panthers aesthetics a little bit because um, I think I took off the Wakanda paint job from this thing, but it does have a very interesting kind of design in that it is like a humanoid panther and its sort of gaping maw is where the cockpit resides. And it's got a couple, it's got like ears. Um, I don't know about it having like a kind of tail, like a stabilizer. Um, the only reason why I bring it up is so like there are lots of bipedal animals, not humans, but lots of other bipedal animals, like lizards in particular, that aren't necessarily bipedal, but when they do run upright, they do use their tail. That looks like a bad deal for you. You lived. They do use their tail as a tail as a stabilizer, a tableizer, if you will. And so, not a feature you see in mechs at all. It seems like the gyro is the sort of um, the sort of pseudoscience that they insert in there, like your warp drive for Trek or whatever. It's the gyro that makes all that possible, which is fine. It's okay. But, it's a panther. It'll look alright with a tail. Let's take a moment to put an F in chat for yet another brave commando. F to pay respects. What a terrible game. I only ever play COD with friends, really, and I just never found it to be that big a thinking man's game, personally. But I feel the same way about Siege, and I realize that Siege has a lot of high-level gameplay. Um, and in there somewhere, there's it's some kind of balance between being proactive and reactive, but a lot of it is, in my opinion, a lot of it is reactive. Like a lot of it is just about developing some muscle memory for Twitch shooting, and as soon as you like, and then map knowledge. Obviously, map knowledge is key for any game. It's key for this game. I talk about maps all the time. Um, but it definitely plays out differently in those sort of high risk, high reward sort of shooters. So I'm actually tempted to go. We don't have it. I should have jumped, I guess, but that's okay. I was gonna go for that kill shot, but it doesn't matter. Been pretty happy with the LBX, but back in my MechWarrior 4 days, ancient history, I used an LBX autocannon 10, I believe, on a Sunder, and I mean, it's just a great gun. LBX guns. It's for mech hunting. That's what it's for. Alright, so I think we're going to turn the lights on and just let this Jenner have it. It might survive, but I don't really think it will. No, it did. My movement decision was a little wonky. I'm sure people noticed that, like, I backed up into the trees and lost that kill shot. So I can blame that one on my basically my bad MechWarrior. Seems fairly likely that everyone's dying, like, right now, though. We could jump. Definitely have not been suffering any kind of heat problems this entire mission. Haven't had to evade much, mostly just been standing and shooting. Though apparently we took a pretty decent hit. Oh, from a PPC, I think, in the large laser. So, man, he just barely survived that. Dead. This is Medusa. I don't think Medusa can do anything, though. Sensor lock for fun. Haha. And Glitch can get this kill. I think would jump up here. Don't think you need to worry about anything special. Shot from anything is going to be certain death. Rip to that Jenner, though. I would offer that pilot a job if he doesn't want to go back to the Concordant. This is actually pretty decent dialogue. Like, Kamea doesn't really soften the blow in the sense that, like, this is a bad fight, but at least your turrets, the ones that are left, are up and running. There are a lot of these less, I say less consequential missions. There are definitely a couple missions that, like, stick out in my memory and lots of ones that I forget. But maybe that's my fault and not the game's. Money. Nice to get paid. Poor Behemoth got shot in the face twice, but that's what it's like to be in the Cyclops. Let's look down here and see if there's anything cool we can pull off of there. All kind of disappointing. Our mod can take you. Heat sinks, jump jets. Alright. Finish a Wolverine and get closer to finishing 2 other mechs. Okay. My buddy was complaining about the salvage value evaluator at the end of every mission. He basically pointed out that there's no way you would ever get that much money from the salvage that you pull off of there, because it basically shows you the MSRP of that rather than what you would actually sell it for. So it's definitely an overvaluation. Story time. That's a problem. Let's stay optimistic. Oh, this is good. I remember this. So, uh, that's war right there. Not only is it war, but it's total war, right? Something that gets fetishized in like video games, like this one, right? In like Call of Duty, like there's way more. There's more content produced for World War One and World War Two than the actual amount of time that it took those wars to complete, right? In terms of documentaries, video games, movies, books, like you could spend more time studying those than it actually took those wars to take place, right? Um, all of that kind of boils down to situations like this, right? Because these are like the actual costs that you run into. Do you feed people, um, or do you fuel your armies? And she, of course, chose correctly. Unfortunately, right? That's again, I I find situations like this completely deplorable and that decision making impossible. But in impossible decision making moments, she made the right one, right? It seems like with American foreign policy being the way it is, we force ourselves into these impossible decisions all the time, and we go, oh, like, how noble, because we always choose the military, right? Uh, just like she does here, right? We have like taking care of our people or feed the military, right? But like again, it seems like instead of having the fight come to us, we pick a lot of fights and then force ourselves into these situations and then force ourselves into these like noble decisions made by noble people kind of thing. And you just go, oh, how very noble. Well, our people at home, they do drive on crap roads. They do spend time in crap hospitals and then pay ridiculous funds, right? So it's like, yeah, you can make this decision once or twice a war, then end the war, take care of your people. He points it out. You did what's right. Yeah. She's like, yeah, these people are going to be starving to death, or they're going to be shot. I don't, I don't even consider this great advice. I don't know what the point of this dialogue is. It's just like filler dialogue. Um, because no matter what, here it's like the commander is on par with Kamea, where you are definitely not on the same level. Like you have a lot of responsibility. Don't get me wrong there, but not like her. Not like what she's doing right here. She's literally a rebel leader. Like if one of these guys got fed up with her at any second, pulled out their sidearm and shot her in the head, that's it. That's the Oregon Reach in one bullet. Where if the same thing happened to you, one of these guys got fed up with you, shot you in the head, that's one mercenary commander down, and one of the other pilots or the XO would step up and fill in for you, and it would just be written off as a tragedy. So yeah, not the same level of stakes. So probably just gonna go with this and empathize. That's the best we can do. She's talking about losing hope there and doing everything that you can to avoid that, which is great advice. You should do that no matter what scale your problems are. If you're just trying to make payments, if you're trying to farm, if you're trying to make your own food, or if you're trying to lead a country, you should never lose hope and never forget that you serve your people. All right. That's pretty funny. Let's go save Lord Madeira. Madeira, I think is the correct pronunciation. Sorry. Oh, she goes with us. I think she goes in the Atlas, and we do get like another difficulty spike. But it's kind of self-imposed because anytime Kamea takes a slot, it's like you don't get to pick that mech's loadout and you don't get to pick the pilot. But other than that, you know, she's a good enough pilot. All right, managed to get paid. I did the refit. Did the refit on the mech that I didn't even end up taking because I'm a big dummy. This one. Big dummy. Yeah, they're built very similarly, but not exactly the same. That 0 out of 4 makes a big difference. Okay. Next time we'll be refitting this Cyclops, and I think we've got contracts on this planet. Let's look. We got one, and it's super easy. So we'll do this contract, and then we'll just go right into extraction. We don't have any reason not to. We've got the mechs, we've got the people, we've got everything. Pretty sure we checked out this store already. It was lackluster. So yeah. I think other than that, I really appreciate you guys coming along and having fun. And I will talk with you next time. We can do some hopes and dreams, and we can if Kamea really does come with us, we'll also talk about the Atlas, I think. But we'll see when we get there. Talk to you next time.